Okay, what it do, y'all? Listen, what's today? February the 8th, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. It's Team No Sleep. James Hicks. Y'all know who that is right there. Montel Allen is in the
Yes.
building. And first, let's go and start this way. You in the building, you back at your home, back at your studio. Because last week you were in the airport. Hope
Yes,
travels were
sir.
safe. Hope travels were good, and we got into some deep discussion last week. And come to find out, you had the police sitting right behind you.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna blame the police for taking us off the air last week.
Yeah, I have to apologize for my audio because I was in the airport, but
Yeah,
definitely I had some eyes on me. The boys in blue were watching
man, they was
while
they
we were
was
talking
there.
about the boys in blue and their conduct and what they've been doing lately, which is just again horrific what they've been doing. I mean, there was another person that was shot and killed recently in LA as well by the police. I mean, police reform definitely is something that needs to be addressed and identified. And I already told you how I feel about the situation. I think it's funny that we have a lot of lip service, but we have a person in power like Kamala Harris that can really do something and refuses to do anything. She doesn't comment on it. She doesn't be. She does. She shows up at funerals or shows up in their town, and then leaves and not demand for them to stop killing these people of color.
Yeah,
And that's what it is. There's police targeting people of color and they're killing them. They don't have any. They have no patience for restraint. Right? It's 0 to 1,000 in a minute, regardless. Where we got mass killers, mass shooters in other places that shoot people and they're apprehended with no conflict and no resolution. No conflict and no confrontation at all. It's amazing.
it's crazy.
It's amazing how that's happened and no one's screaming about it. No one's talking about it. We scream about it for 5 minutes and then it goes away.
Goes,
So
yeah.
I'm kind of tired of that part.
Yeah, but we doing our due diligence and we keeping conversations going as they need to be going. When they get cold in the mainstream media, we continue to have that conversation. Listen, before we keep going though, let's go ahead and give some shots out to the community. We see folks coming in. I'm putting the comments up, man. Listen, we got the squad here. Everybody's happy that you okay. That you back home, that I didn't have to go into the secret container and get the bail money out or whatever the case may be.
Nah, nothing like that. Nothing like that. No, nothing like that. Brother gonna be all right when it comes to that stuff.
Definitely. Listen, I see Mr. Moderator in there for us, Mr. Cox in there telling everybody to do the right thing. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share. We are on where we at? YouTube, Facebook. We on Facebook because my mom keeps coming, so she's the only reason that I'm continuing to stream this on Facebook and obviously on Twitter because that's where a lot of the crew is as well. Let's go ahead and get into it. We had some stories. And they were a couple of weeks old, but then last week we wanted to talk about the situation in Tennessee, and we wanted to do that because that was most pressing. A couple of the other stories that we had are kind of older news now that aren't necessarily nothing that we need to talk about right now. We'll continue to track those stories, but
Yeah.
listen, the thing that happened yesterday, and I already see it in the comments. We're gonna talk about it. The captain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, was in the building. Denzel watched. I'm just going by what I saw on TV. I was sitting in the gym. I was underneath the squat rack, and I saw Denzel. I saw Kareem. I saw the James family. Who else did I see? I think we saw Bad Bunny in there, right? He didn't
A
have
lot of
on
great
his.
Lakers.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of great Lakers was in there though. A lot of great
we
Magic,
saw
Kareem. I mean, Magic
what
was
was his
worthy.
name? We saw the founder of Nike there, right? Just chilling, and I like the snapshot of him. What I'm talking about, and y'all know it. LeBron James, now the all-time scoring leader for NBA. That's a big deal, right?
Yes.
Let's go and give props where props is due because the record stood for was it 40 years?
Mm-hmm.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had the title for 40 years as the all-time points leader in the NBA, and here comes this, I was going to say young, this 37-and-a-half-year-old beast of a man out there, LeBron James, in the Lakers jersey, at home. That's the story piece that I like, right? The fact that it
Mm-hmm.
happened in LA, it happened on a home game. They could have won. They should have won, but they didn't win. They lost by 3. But needless to
Yeah.
say, LeBron's got the scoring title. Talk to me about what you think about the fact that he passed, the fact that he passed the record, the fact that so many people were there, because I like to talk about the story. And what do you think this means for him, his legacy, and the game moving forward? And y'all in the comments, go ahead and chime in as well.
Yeah. I think LeBron submitted his. I mean, he submitted his legacy a long time ago. This just adds to his accolades, what he's been able to achieve on the basketball court. Let's give him props. I've always said I think he's the greatest athlete to ever play basketball. Even before he's not the greatest basketball player to me, but he's the greatest athlete to ever play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I think a person his size, his stature, the way I think more so, you got to attribute to like how he's been able to take care of himself over the years.
Yes.
He hasn't really had any major injuries. He's been able to play through whatever. He's won he's won 4 championships. He's done everything the game has asked him for. I think the more part that I applaud LeBron for is that the fact, man, he's been in the spotlight since he was 15 years old.
Straight out of high school. Before high school,
the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, while he was in high school, freshman when he was leading them in high school. He's been in the spotlight since 15 years old, and he's been able to navigate without no trouble, no really big controversy, especially speaking his mind against social issues that's been going on. He's been a clean-cut guy. He's invested his money back in his community. He takes care of teachers in Akron. This dude, I'm not a big fan of his game because I'm not a Laker fan and I haven't been a LeBron fan. Basketball player-wise, just because of posing, because who I cheer for.
Yeah.
But that dude is a humanitarian and a businessman. I applaud him. He's one of the best out there to ever do it. Yeah. He's on the levels of the Magic Johnsons and all them. I applaud him for what he does beyond outside the basketball game, more so than what he does inside the basketball game. Because the basketball game, he's just a great athlete. He's a freak of nature.
True.
There will never be no one like him. There's never no one that's going to catch him on points ever again. He's going to set this. He's going to play for like the next 2 years. That number's going to be so way out that no one's going to be able to do it because I don't think no one's going to be able to have the longevity or be able to have the durability to play for that long. At least we won't see it in our lifetime.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to be able
to think about it. So you think about what he's waiting for. Now, I'm going to interrupt because you know what he's waiting for. He's waiting so he can play with his son. He's trying to stay in the league. And he's got the clout. He can make the phone calls to maybe get Bronny on the same squad or whatever. But that's what he's waiting for. And by that time, Brown will be at 40,000. And if it took 40 years to get to this record, everyone else that's in the top 5 is already retired.
Yes, right. There's nobody catching him. There's nobody going to catch him.
It's crazy.
I just think, man. I mean, I was able to witness Kareem when I was a little bit. I remember Kareem broke the record.
Yeah.
And then now, 40 years later, I'm able to see LeBron. And this is my son's generation era. They're able to see one of the greatest to ever do it. Now, LeBron's not in my top 5 because I'm an old school generation guy. He's not in my top 5. Or he's not the GOAT in my book. Michael Jordan's the GOAT. But you can't argue with his numbers, man. Numbers don't lie. The man is definitely great. He's great. He's one of the greatest basketball players to ever walk the face of the earth. Whether he's in my top 5 or not, that's irrelevant. His numbers don't lie. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. And I just believe that he's just a good. I think I met him. I would love to pick his brain. Just like, man, how did he do it? You got to think, man. He's 37. For at least 17 years, he's been in the spotlight as a superstar, and he's been able to navigate with his family, his kids, his business,
without falling up into any madness or any mess. Living in Los Angeles, right? That's true. Yeah.
Any madness. Yeah. And I hate to point out the obvious. I mean, we dealt with it with Jordan with his gambling, right, and his father's situation passing away. We dealt with Kobe with his that incident that he had in Denver. Mm-hmm. With that situation with that rape charge, we've dealt with it with Kareem with his activism, right? When he was activism, Kareem changed his name, his Muslim faith and all that stuff. People bashed him on that. This man has been able to navigate for 17 years in the spotlight and never had any really blemishes on his character. As far as his character, he's been steady. Is that a good or bad thing? I don't know, but I mean, he's been the stand-up guy. He's the model professional, and I think that's more than a basketball player. He's a model sports professional.
So let's talk about it. Is he the right person just because he's broken all these records? Just because he's the talk of the town? Because he's got the biggest platform? Should he be the kind of the voice of the league? Right? You're always looking for Jerry West is the logo. Should Kobe be now the new logo? Should LeBron be the voice of the league when things jump off and when someone is looking for a spokesperson? For NBA, should it be LeBron? And then I'm going to ask you maybe for other sports who that person would be. Because LeBron, you're right. For so many years, he's been riding pretty squeaky clean. Hadn't caused any trouble, right? He's more than an athlete. He's done all those things. He's opened up those schools. He's giving kids education. He's giving them food.
Mm-hmm.
He's giving them opportunity. He's bringing his
Yep.
whole old crew with him, and they've started their entrepreneurship journeys and things like that. He's doing a lot of the right things. Why
Mm-hmm.
is he still getting so much hate sometimes, though? Is it just
I think.
fans? Is it just fans because of other teams, or is it fans because he's succeeding and he's not failing?
Well, he's succeeded in not failing. He's got haters
Mm-hmm.
on the side. I mean, and I'll be the first when it's on the court and he's gripping the ball. I'm the first one to hate on LeBron. Don't do it. Don't do it. Especially if he's going against the Warriors or the Kings. But I mean, peel that onion back a little bit, or peel that peel off. Looking at him, man, he's great. I mean, you can't argue it. You
Yeah,
can't. There's nothing to argue. Like we can't argue Jordan's greatness.
true.
We can't argue LeBron's greatness at all. He's there. Now, on 99% of people, he's probably on their Mount Rushmore, top 4 players ever. Me, I always filter. You know, after I get to the top 3 or 4, it starts to kind of filter around them and
All
me.
right, talk about
But
it because you got people asking right now. So Joshua, who was on the show last week, what's up to you,
my
player?
number one, I'll
Come
say
on.
my number one is Michael,
Yeah,
always.
yeah,
Number 2 is Kobe. Number 3 to me is Magic Johnson because he transcended the game,
yes.
the way it was played. My number 4, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Wow.
and then number 5, it goes between Wilt and Bron. Like who's who? Wilt was in a different era, but Wilt dominated so much. And then you got LeBron who's dominating now. And then you got to also throw Bill Russell in there somewhere because he dominated with so many championships. I mean, we got to go there. We got to go. We go there, and then somewhere LeBron falls into that 5 between that 5 and 6, 7 era, and then then you can name the KDs and all that stuff, Kevin Durant, and I
Yeah.
even like Steph Curry in my number 10 because he's transcended the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
This,
Look,
this
Steph is on a whole nother planet, right?
yeah,
Steph is to me is like Patrick Mahomes. I don't like
yeah,
Patrick Mahomes because, and we can talk about this when we get there,
yeah,
because he makes the
yeah.
game too stupid. He's too
Well,
good.
this is my different. This is the only knock I'll have on LeBron. Why I don't
Okay.
think he's the greatest player to go.
Okay.
He hasn't transcended basketball. Michael Jordan transcended basketball.
Yeah.
They played a different. When Michael came in the league, they played a different way. Before Michael came in the league, it was Magic and Bird, Showtime, kind of a little bit of flashy, but not very much. Michael changed it with the fashion, tongue out, the way he went, the winning, his swag, the way he is. He transcended the game. LeBron then came in, dominant basketball player. But Steph Curry has made more impact on the game because the game has changed the way Steph plays more so than the way LeBron plays. That's why, to me, LeBron is not the. He didn't transcend the game. Magic transcended when he came in. Kareem transcended when he came in as percenters. It was a big man's game.
True.
Magic came in and transcended the game from a guard that never played that way. It was athletic and everything. Michael transcended it. Steph transcended it. LeBron is not in that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's not. I think he's in the conversation only from a longevity perspective. He hasn't risen above just in not ability, but just in and not even in action. But you're right. So much has already been done by the Kobes, by the Michaels, by the Wilts, by by those folks already, and LeBron just being like he said, this freak of nature who's been able to do this thing for so many years at this high level, 37 years old, and can still get up and down that court faster than anybody. He don't play a lot of defense sometimes. I'm gonna give him.
I'm not going to see, but I mean, LeBron he could be an all defensive player if he really wanted to clamp down.
If he wanted to, he's not ready for that.
And that's not what's asked of him. But to be, like I said, to become a GOAT or to be a guy that I'm like, man, that dude right there. I'm just saying he didn't transcend it. Kids right now want to be Steph. They shooting threes. They want to be Steph.
They didn't want his shoes when they first came out, though.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
Listen, I'm sorry, man. I'm just enjoying actually having a good laugh with you on a good conversation because we've been so tight lately, man. So I'm sorry, y'all. My personality is coming out, and y'all know me. But
that's all good. No. I believe. I mean, and I don't want to take nothing away from LeBron because it's LeBron's day. But Steph's just transcended the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to think the game is from outside. It used to be inside out, right? You go to the center, the forward, inside out. Now the game is outside in, and that's because of Steph Curry. Nobody else. And they had great three-point shooters before. Reggie Miller, Ray Allen. All those guys were great as well. Top guys in three-pointers. But Steph has transcended the game to be an outside game before then. And like I said, that's the only reason why. But LeBron, man, he's a great player, man. I can't even argue.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
we've
I would
even
say
talked about them possibly
yeah,
changing the rules of the game because of the way Steph plays. Right.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
there's going to be a 4-point line before you know
yeah. But I mean,
it.
like I said, man, LeBron has stood the test of time. He's done everything he needed to do. And for those who think he's a GOAT, I won't argue with it. I can't. I mean, you can't argue he has the numbers. He doesn't. The only thing we can
Listen,
argue is his championships.
when he's finally done, he'll be
Yes.
first round ballot. He'll be a first ballot. Come on.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I
He'll
mean,
be one.
so
I mean, he'll
at
be
the
known
end
as
of the
one
day,
of the.
let's not even question that.
Yeah,
When he finally hangs up, he'll be a first ballot.
yeah, and he'll be regarded as probably the best or
Yeah.
second best player ever to play the game. It's always going to be between him and Jordan. That's going to be the argument from this on until the next great comes in. It's going to be between those two young cats of this generation, say LeBron, because they grew up with him.
Yeah.
Our generation says we saw them both. We had the pleasure of watching Jordan, and we know what Jordan brought to the table.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're dealing with we're dealing with what's age. Is new wine better than the old wine,
Well,
right?
watch out now.
Which is better?
We like that
You know
fine
what
wine.
I'm saying?
We like that old school drink. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Are age grapes better than what's the new grape? So it's kind of it's just an argument of test of time, man. It's just like we argue about hip hop. Who's the greatest MC? Kids say NBA young boy, which I don't never heard of like his music
Who?
too much. Or we say who our old generation is, right?
Listen.
Rakim and all them. This is a battle of
Okay,
generations.
you want to talk about the Grammy celebration there when
That was dope.
Rakim? Oh
Yeah,
my
that was
God.
dope.
Okay, that was that was. We can
That was
talk about
dope.
that
There was
8 minute.
the only thing that was missing was Ice Cube, man. Ice Cube should have had his part on there, but otherwise, we didn't really have the West Coast representatives up there. That's the only part that kind of
we bouncing
I
all
wasn't
over the
feeling.
place. This is a different night for sure. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
true too.
yeah.
For the culture, that was dope. Chief has brought up something. Thoughts on the hostile tweet from Ennis Cantor on LeBron. I did not see that, but I know that they've had some back and forth, right? But I didn't
Yeah, I
see
didn't see that
anything
either.
recently.
Yeah, I
Again,
mean,
I know they've chirped at each other a little bit back about some of their activities and some of their philanthropy and some of the things that they did, but I didn't see this one particular. We'll research that, man, to find out what's going on with
yeah,
that. Thanks for the comment.
yeah. Enos Cantor, I mean, I understand the situation. He wants people to speak about his country and the things that are going over there, but I mean, LeBron has enough speaking on the people that's going over here in the United States, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the NBA. I agree the NBA is supposed to be a world ambassador, but we have issues in the United States that need to be addressed as well. And not to this, not to minimize what Mr. Cantor is fighting for, but the fact of the matter that we have things here that we need to address, and his platform, I would wish would focus more here in the United States and resolving some of the issues
Yeah.
we have here,
Yeah.
and using this as a force to correct some of the things here instead of going elsewhere. And that's selfish of me. It's very selfish of me. I'll be the first to admit it, but that's the kind of the way I feel. I wish we could just address things that were kind of going on here and use that platform in a stronger nature.
Love it. Love it. I'm just looking back here at all the comments. Y'all keeping it going. Let's see. Joshua, did Kobe dominate the same way that the other guys did? Michael, Magic, Wilton, LeBron. Then I see some back and forth in the comments. We gonna leave that right there,
Absolutely.
bro.
Kobe was a beast. And they can say what they want. Kobe was a
yeah. Listen, Kobe had no pause off 50%. He was 120% all day, every day in practice, on games, regardless, right? Kobe didn't have any friends because he didn't want friends. Everybody was his enemy.
Kobe got 4 chips too. Kobe got just as many as LeBron. Kobe got 4. So I don't know what people are talking about. I think he got 4, I believe. 3 with Phil. Yeah, I think he has 4.
Yeah,
he has 4 with Phil. 3 with Shaq and then 1 without Shaq.
Yeah.
So so are we going? I mean, and we got also what we measure. What are we measuring greatness by? Are we measuring greatness by breaking individual records, or we measure greatness by winning championships within teams?
I think the players would recognize it as championships because from a player's mentality, it's always the top of that mountaintop, right? But from everyone else's perspective, the folks that vote them into the hall, the reporters and the news and all that, it's always, what did you do around the game?
And this is where my argument goes. Karl Malone is the highest scoring power forward. Karl Malone,
yeah,
the highest scoring power forward.
Mm.
Is he deemed as the greatest power forward over Tim Duncan?
Karl Malone don't have no rings. He should have. Karl Malone, I feel sorry for him. He doing all right.
I'm just we're just saying individual records justify using greatness. There's an example. Karl Malone is third on that list of scoring, the top scoring power forward of all time. Mm-hmm. But do we deem him greater than Tim Duncan? And just in that position.
I don't.
I don't either.
Okay.
Tim Duncan
Yeah.
was the greatest power forward ever to play.
Just making sure we
But
align here. I'm making sure we not gonna have any problems.
no.
Like I don't.
But
Okay.
a matter of fact, Karl Malone is probably to me maybe fourth or fifth power forward ever to play. Because I would go Duncan, I would go Charles Barkley somewhere in that mix. I would definitely go Kevin Garnett somewhere in that mix and
Yeah.
Kevin McHale in that mix. So, and this guy's the leading scorer
Wow.
out of all of them.
McHale. Yeah, he was a bad man too. Yeah, McHale was
Yeah,
dope. Okay. I mean, you bring up McHale, you start talking about all of them, you start talking about Bird. I mean, wow, Lee. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So I'm saying if you're gonna put it in that retrospect, I mean LeBron's greatest individual achievement being a leading scorer and all that good stuff. Great, and like his play over the years, great. His longevity, 17 years, great. His 4 championships, great. But just because you got these individual accolades and a few team accolades, I don't deem you as the greatest. I think Michael epitomified all those things: defense, offense, clutch, score, everything he could do. And
Listen,
that's Michael in Chicago, not Michael in Washington.
in the Wizards Day, listen, y'all know how much I love Michael. I told you, and most of y'all family know when we had our first child, it didn't matter if it was boy or girl, they were going to be named Jordan. And that's how we did it because greatest of all time. So, all right, let's continue to move on here and see what's going. Appreciate everybody chopping in. Mr. Cox is keeping everybody on point with the likes and the thumbs up and things like that. Appreciate you, brother. Got a game coming up Sunday. I don't know if y'all know about that. I don't know if y'all watch football. Since we already talked about our top 5 for NBA, let's talk about when we get to it. Talk about our top 3, 4, 5 players, quarterbacks, maybe position players in football too.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got, man? Come on, we got the Eagles, and we got them Kansas City Chiefs. Man, I can't stand Patrick Mahomes. He's just too good. I do. I'm hating on him. I'm hating on him because he just turns the game into just to a backyard playground game, and is just so slow for him. Right, everyone else is moving frantically, but he can just sidearm the ball. He can run back. That's why I'm hating on him. But he's a great player. But talk to me what you think about this game coming up, man.
He's one of the best guys, and I say I'll put on record right now. I'm going for the Eagles.
Yeah,
because I just like Jalen Hurts' story.
Come on, yeah.
I love the fact that he has overcome every obstacle that was thrown in his way to be successful, and has gotten to the. I mean, I remember when he was drafted low. He was supposed to be drafted as a running back or a receiver. He wasn't supposed to play quarterback, and he's overcome everything he had to overcome to be this person that he is and playing in the Super Bowl. And I'm going for Philly. I mean, I like Kansas City. I do like Mahomes, man. I mean, the dude's just special. He's special. You know how you got good players and you got special players?
Yeah.
He's special.
Yeah.
He's very special.
It's just innate for him. And that's a good thing. That's a positive. I'm just hating on him because y'all know I got my terrible towels and I'm still Mike Tomlin. I'm still a Steelers guy, but this dude is out here.
But the more interesting story, the more story to this whole thing is to me is let's say Kansas City does win.
Yeah.
Where does Eric Bieniemy land?
Oh.
He's been a guy that's taken this team to 4 Super Bowls, arguably the number 1 offense in the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, since he's been there, they've been a number 1 offense.
Yeah.
Where does he not get his opportunity? Like any other coach, and I will speak about it. Any other coach, any other offensive coordinator would get a shot. Why is he not getting his chance, his opportunity? We just saw the 49ers DC, who had the number 1 defense.
I was getting ready to say, we're seeing a lot of movement, and we're seeing a lot of black DCs, OCs getting an opportunity. And you're right that the enemy he's on everyone's short list. We know it's been public. He's been interviewed in a lot of places, but why has no one offered him a position?
What seems to be and that's the thing that I question. If I'm looking at any stunts, underlays or what's going on around the Super Bowls, like why is he not getting his opportunity? I wish, and if it's something, why don't one of the owners say what it is? Like we interviewed him, we didn't like him, he got qualified. Tell us what the reason is, because his resume speaks volumes over almost 90% of the coaches that are coaches in the NFL.
That's true. He's a winner. He's got more W's than L's. That's for sure. Yeah.
So why has this man been passed up over and over and over again when he continues to display success over success over success with Mahomes? So I'm kind of, that's the story I'm looking to see what's going to come out of this. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm wondering why he hasn't got it. I mean, it was so much hype about Sean Payton. Sean Payton taking over the Broncos. How come Eric Bieniemy wasn't
And we
considered
knew
for
that
the
was
job?
going to happen, right? Again, with if that was supposed to have been a secret, that was one of the worst secrets of all. When he
Yeah,
was talking about it while he was doing some analyst work on, I think it was Fox or whatever. So we knew all that was happening, and
yeah. But again,
why
why is that?
Sean over everyone else?
Yeah, why Sean getting that opportunity to
Yeah,
go in there when we got a person that just took his team to, I think they've been to 4 of the last 6 Super Bowls.
yeah,
The OC has taken this team and they've had the top offense 6 years going into the Super Bowl. Why is he not getting the opportunity to go be a head coach at Denver? Why wasn't he even considered in that interview with Sean Payton? Or why wasn't he just given the job just like they gave it to Sean Payton?
true.
That part is kind of, and I ain't talking color. This has nothing to do with his color of his skin. I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
the merit of the man's resume. Because if this was any other coach, they would already had a head coach job. I'm wondering specifically for Eric Bieniemy, what's going on? Why is he not getting that opportunity? And I wish people would chime in if they had any comments on it. But this is kind
Yeah,
of it's kind of disturbing almost.
I'm hoping that it's not, but I'm gonna bring it up just to be devil's advocate. I'm wondering if it's Bieniemy, his request, his writer, right? I need this, and that.
Mm.
Again, I'm just asking,
You-
right? Just wondering if he's asking for more than a particular team organization can provide, or
I don't think
is
so.
okay.
Sean Payton
Again,
asked
I
for
just want
everything
I want
under
to
the
have that
world.
conversation because you're right. He
Yeah,
shouldn't be passed up so much. But why is it that he is? Is it him? Is he looking in the mirror? Is he the man in the mirror saying, maybe I'm asking for only the red M&Ms in my in my office, and they can't provide that, or what is the case? So
my question is, why can't he just ask for the red M&Ms? Sean Payton just did.
okay,
He asked for everything in the world, and
okay,
they gave it to him.
okay, there you go.
If you put in some of these coaches, they ask for the world and they give it to them for
Yeah,
them to be. They gave the boy they got fired at Jacksonville. What was the coach's name that got fired? Um, Meyer,
the,
Urban
yeah,
Meyer.
Urban Meyer,
They
the
gave
one that
Urban
was at the
Meyer
strip club. Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
They
that's
gave
true.
him everything when he
Yeah,
took that job. Everything he wanted, even though he blew it. So how does a coach that comes straight out of college gets everything, and a
yeah,
proven guy like Bieniemy doesn't even get a sniff or chance to head coach at the NFL level? I'm not understanding. And someone said Brian Leftwich. Yeah, Brian Leftwich, I would have said a year ago, absolutely, no problem. But now that the Brady curse that got on him since Brady lost and retired, he gonna have a little bit harder time
retired
to
again.
getting the
Yeah,
head coaching job, even though he deserves it as well. I think he deserves it as well. But Bieniemy's resume speaks more louder volumes than Leftwich does, way louder, and he's not getting the chance. And I think that needs to be taken look at by fans. Football fans are all around. Why is that not happening? Why is he not being considered for the Dallas job if that coach goes away? Why is he not being considered for the New Orleans job when that was open? Why is he
yeah,
not being considered for some of these jobs? And I'm not talking about go through the interview. We got 7 interviews. Sean Payton didn't have to go against anyone.
yeah.
Once he interviewed, it was his. He didn't have to. As a matter of fact, I don't even think it was an interview. It was like, do you want this job? If
It
you want it, you got it. It's yours.
what it was what like some of the folks are saying here, like shouts out to Jim Hughes here in the building. It's some of those recycled coaches, right? It's time to go ahead and
True.
get some new blood in there at these higher level positions and let them show what they can do, as opposed to again keep going through the same cats every single time, just moving them back and forth between squads. And that's right. I don't think Peyton's going to be that successful. I just don't.
I,
I just don't think he's
I
going to
mean, but I'm
be
saying,
what they expect him to
what
be with the weapons that he has on that squad.
Well, I'm gonna even go over that. Let's say they say he's such an offensive genius, right? He's such an
Hmm.
offensive genius, and he won a Super Bowl. How can you say Eric Bieniemy is not an offensive genius? He's had the number
Wow.
one offense for 6 years in a row. He's a genius. We see what he has Mahomes do. They lost Tyreek Hill and all them. They still putting up numbers. They still doing a great job. So you can't say it's that. You can't. There's no way. So if he's an offensive genius and Eric Bieniemy's an offensive genius who's been in the game for the last 6 years, why is he not getting that same respect that Sean Payton is getting? He's earned it. He has earned it 100%, and he's not getting it. And I don't know. And I don't know why. If this was any other coordinator, they would already had a job. Sean
Yeah.
McVay got the job at the age of what? 31, 33 years old with no head coaching experience in the Rams.
Well, see, you can't use Sean McVay because that was
That I
nepotism.
can use him. I can use him because why was he just given the job? Why was he just given the opportunity? Because he was the hottest young coach coming out. That's why. He was
Well,
the hottest young coach
then
coming out.
he had that McVay name, so that's what that
All
was.
that being said,
Yeah.
Bieniemy's been in that position for 6 years, man. Come on, 6 years, the number one offense. 6, 4. He's been to 4 out of 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah. So I don't know what's crazy. Think about what I said, and then here comes Kevin saying he thinks maybe he doesn't even want the job. Maybe he doesn't even want that job.
He said he wanted to become a head coach, and I think great. I know the DC job or Washington, whatever they call it, I forgot the name. The Commanders. They were remotely interested, but why can't he take over a franchise like Minnesota, or why can't he take over a good franchise that he wants to of his choice? Because Sean Payton had his choice. They were talking about Sean Payton taking over Dallas, and they were just going to fire the coach they have now. Wasn't even no question about it. If Sean Payton wanted the Dallas job, he was going to have the Dallas. They were going to fire their head coach.
Mike McCarthy would have been out on the street, boy. McCarthy would have been out. Him and what's the QB name? I can't even think because
he. Or Dak with Dak Prescott.
So even Dak would have been out there at Starbucks or somewhere.
I'm just saying, anybody that's hot in the NFL, just like the defensive coordinator from San Francisco, who's hot, he got the job in Houston. Bieniemy been hot for a long time.
Yeah,
I'm wondering what's blocking him. What's going on? And no one ever speaks to somebody. They just say he didn't interview good, or he was the next one, and he moves on to the next year and he's successful again. I'm wondering what's going on. Let's remember the offensive coordinator, the guy that say head coach of Miami Dolphins. He was hot. He was deemed as going to be a hot coordinator.
Yeah,
and now he got the Dolphins job.
Got the job. Yes, he sure did. Yes, he did.
So how are these guys getting these jobs because they're deemed no hot with no resume near Bieniemy's? Near Super Bowl champion OC, been there so many times, been in playoff championship so many times. I'm curious, dude. That right there makes no sense to me. So I don't know.
We will see. We sparking up some controversy today because folks is really,
Josh McDaniels sucks. Hold on, he's horrible. Josh McDaniels horrible. He needs to be fired now. Horrible.
I have no comment on Josh McDaniels at all.
Horrible. I say horrible.
He is not on any fantasy coach league that I may have.
Horrible.
There should be a fantasy coach league.
He's horrible. Matter of fact, he need to get a Raiders. He need to get a Raiders fans back their money.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, he bad. We've had that conversation too. They should have just kept the interim dude there because they were winning. They looked all right.
Bro,
and
think about this. How do you turn an all-pro quarterback to garbage in 1 year?
But he show out doing the what you call it, the Pro Bowl games, and we're gonna talk about that madness too. But we're
gonna talk about that. But I'm saying, how do you turn an all-pro quarterback to garbage and you give him the best receiver in the game?
He's got Devontae Adams, man, and the man has 8 arms.
Man,
right? He
dude, Josh McDaniels has never won anywhere he's ever coached. Ever. The only place he coaches is when he's a coordinator with Bill Belichick. Yeah. Otherwise, he doesn't win.
Yeah.
So, F for the Raiders, F for the owner of the Raiders, Davis Jr., and I'm sorry, F for the fans. And this is a big F for McDaniels. I would throw the finger up, but I can't. So
let's be clear, okay?
All right, no, let's be clear. I mean that was straight up right there. Okay, no love, no respect for anything happening in Oakland. Love the stadium.
Las Vegas.
I mean, I'm old school. I'm gonna keep them in Oakland. Just like I'm old. Okay. I did go to the stadium, so that was dope there in Vegas. So I love that. Still talking a little bit of football. I'll ask you in a minute about your top players, but I mentioned about the Pro Bowl thing that happened this past weekend. Your thoughts and everyone in the community in the comments. Did you watch the Pro Bowl? Was there a game? I know there. No. I know there was all this other stuff going on around it. I think some bounce house activities, some flag. It was just terrible. What's going on? What's going on with the NFL and their All-Star weekend? It's not right. Talk to us.
Let me know when you're ready for me to go and chime.
Oh
You
my God!
ready?
Hold on. Let me see what folks are saying, because I
Okay,
want to
okay.
let it marinate out there, because I know folks are probably stewing, and they looking for the keyboard right now. Just Tony said it was horrible. Let me see. Okay, we're gonna ask about esports. We're gonna ask about that a little bit later. That's my point. McDaniels was only good because of Brady, and Bieniemy only good because of Mahomes. Wow. Golden Phoenix says not worth watching, to be honest. I think we are in agreement. How did you feel, Mr. Allen?
Horrible.
Why?
The NFL marketing team and committee needs to be absolutely fired for that display of entertainment for the NFL. It makes no sense to me. Why in the world would you play a pickup game flag and do all these other little activity events when you already have a product that can really be developed, and I think they can really market and maximize off of it? You have the NFLPA College All Star Game. Why is that designated to that week where they can have some of the NFL players that are not playing the Super Bowl coach, be mentors to these young men while they're in the field, and then have that game as our entertainment for the Pro Bowl? I understand guys don't want to play another game. The body's beat up and hurt from the season now. But these are the next upcoming guys that are going to be stars in the NFL. If you had that during Super Bowl week, not Super Bowl week, people now have something to talk about in the beginning of the week when the college players play, how these other NFL players feel about them by the coaching and the mentoring, have them go through the whole NFL process, what they're doing as far as before pre-draft and all that good stuff, and then it caters into the Super Bowl week, all the way into the Super Bowl. I'm all the way to the Super Bowl. I'm not understanding how you have a multi-billion-dollar industry with a marketing team that tries to display this, and they can't figure that out. That's got to be one-on-one business. Market what you already have. You have the NFLPA game that already exists. It doesn't get a lot of lackluster because it doesn't get a lot of advertising because it's leading up to the Super Bowl. Yeah. Take that game to the Super Bowl. Now you have all eyes on these young men and these top college players to be able to play and be able to go and be able to meet their stars and the guys they envy and emulate them, and they can teach them little tricks of the trade while before they play in the game, and then they go off to the game and play it. Now you're having another big-time event amongst that Super Bowl weekend where you can maximize all your money. Dude, that's business 101. And for all those smart people that work in the NFL, they get a big effort what they put on and display the game to the fans. Drop the mic.
Click right there. So for all my content creative folks out there, you, Kevin Coxon, as well, I was specifically quiet. I want y'all to take a clip of what Montel said right there and share that across social media. When I get back from the gym tonight, I'm going to do exactly that, because we have talked about that behind the scenes, and that is the way for the NFL to make their All-Star weekend relevant again, because dodgeball, flag football, Saquon Barkley, getting popped in the head from a dodgeball just is not the most effective use of time, and it's not that, it shouldn't be that difficult, right? When you got all these other smart people in the room, I mean, just to use your platform, use your dollars and cents that you have to actually bring this in with the Super Bowl, as opposed to it's just turned into nothing. It's just turned into nothing.
It only makes sense, right? Because you're already prepping for that kind of event. You just add this to the part of the event, the NFLPA game. Now you attract all these top college players that want to make their last hurrah for the NFL scouts. All the NFL scouts and teams can be right there where they're going to be anyway at the Super Bowl. It all makes sense if they can all put it in that one area and have that game there. It doesn't make any sense what they're doing now. And like I said, for all those people to make that kind of money, not to be able to put an event like that on, or think about incorporating that event, behooves me. You're a $1 billion industry. Why are you letting these? Why is it not happening that way? That does not make sense to me. I appreciate that.
Listen, they you got folks that's really feeling it, man. So appreciate that, and then we should get on first take. As long as old boy not on there, I'm not a fan.
No, I want him to be on there. I would love him to be on there.
I can't be on the same show with Stephen A. because he's loud.
He goes spar for spar.
He's never laced him up. No, he's never been in the locker room except to report. Oh, don't record this. Don't clip this. What I'm saying, y'all. Only clip what Montel is saying, because I'm talking craziness. And we probably gonna get shut down again. We was talking about Dana White 2 weeks ago. We got shut down. Yeah. We was talking about the police last week. Now I'm talking about Stephen A. Smith. But that's the truth, man. The All-Star, I keep calling the All-Star, but the Pro Bowl weekend for the NFL is terrible. No real fan of the game is watching it. They're just not. Right.
Yeah.
I think folks are watching it for whatever the other activities that are happening around it, little mini concerts, the this and this, getting the ability to get close to the players for a minute. That's what they're watching it, but they're not watching it for as a true exhibition of professional
But
world class athletes.
yeah, but it'd be that would the NFLPA game would be a great segue going into
Mm-hmm.
that week and that event because now those players get a taste of what the epitome of winning an NFL championship is. They get to be around all these great players, great scouts, so much knowledge that will be shared there. The PA game would be such a man would be such a perfect setup
Mm-hmm.
going into the week of the Super Bowl, and it gives now people like us, people in the media, something to report on and talk about. Other than the game, we can talk about who's the MVP of the game, who the scouts thought were really great. We have now more content based around that whole week of who scouts saw, what they're going to do, who they thought was very impressive, who the players thought was very impressive in the game.
Yeah.
And it becomes a media event because you got to think if NFL players attend the game, more and more fans are going to attend the game, right? If NFL players are coaching the game, being position coaches or working out or calling some OC plays or being co-OCs or whatever, or being head coaches, more people are going to draft, going to go flock to that arena to go watch those guys coach and be out there and share their knowledge with these players and watch these guys perform.
Yeah.
It just, man, it's mustard and mayonnaise, man. It mesh. All you got to do is put the meat in it, which is the NFL, and make it happen.
Well, hey, I'm gonna drop this on you, and this is already looking into the future. And then I see a couple of comments that I'm gonna address as well. Y'all in the community know that I applied for Super Bowl credentials this year. I specifically just wanted us to hang out halftime during the Rihanna, during the halftime show. So we got denied on that. However, I do have a connection, and there are some events around the Super Bowl that happen every single year, and we will be going. Not we may. We will be going to the Super Bowl next year. So it's already locked in. So Team No Sleep is at the Super Bowl next year. So it's already spoken into existence. It's already going to happen. It's already been signed and sealed. I'm just now dropping it on Montel and the community, but yeah, that's already happened. So
They ain't ready for me. They ain't ready for me.
Listen, hold up, wait a minute, boy. Come on now, we gonna be up in the building. We gonna be in the building. Yeah. So you're looking forward to that. So y'all stay with us, obviously, for that. Listen, Hicks and Montel on Undisputed with Shannon. I wouldn't mind getting on there with Uncle Sharp. Make sure I don't say nothing to make him mad though, because Uncle Sharp, he live in the gym and he know how to use them hands. We've seen that on TV.
And he's one of my favorite, man. I mean, Shannon's came a long way in this game of his podcast and what he does on Undisputed. I mean, I don't know who his writers are, who the people that give him stats or whatever, thing like that. But brother Sharp, I would love to spar verbally with him.
Yeah,
and talk about what we disagree about.
Shannon Sharp, don't get it twisted. He from the South, and he had some humble beginnings. But listen, Shannon Sharp, when that boy get to talking, because I was just watching the what is it, the Bullies of Baltimore on ESPN Classic or so. It was a 30 for 30, and it was talking about when their reign as the Ravens. Shannon Sharp is no joke. Right. That man knows what he knows, and he's incredibly intelligent about not just football, but about life and about dealing with people and dealing with different situations. So the Bullies of Baltimore, check that out if you got 30 for 30 on ESPN. Let me see what's going on here. Tony Davis says, stop hiring your kids for higher positions. When you rich, your kids don't go to school to learn. Oh my goodness, he talking. See Tony up here talking about folks, man. Okay, Kevin, we need two intellectual African American brothers like you guys to go against Stephen A. Not Mad Dog. Yes, right there. That's it, man. We gonna get on there and we gonna next year. I don't even know where the game is, but we there. We
there,
now
so
have
it's all good.
We have a solidified seat every year through this organization that I've partnered us with to be at the Super Bowl. So it's all dope. Yeah.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
What else you got, man? I only got one other story. I know folks were asking if you knew about esports. I guess there's some things going on in esports. I'm not really a big follower of that genre. I don't know what's jumping off in there, but You following any of the esports or
I
anything of
don't. I
that?
don't follow the. I mean, I know I know esports is becoming like the fastest growing. One of the fastest growing things that's going on as far as competitiveness in there. I'm a bit. I know I've seen the 2K stuff and the Madden stuff because those are the only two games that I'm pretty familiar with. But when they start to get to those shooting games like Call of Duty and all that stuff, man, I'm just not abreast on it. I just know that sport is up and growing. I know Universal started to tap in as competitive esports games
Yeah,
in order to give scholarships. I know several Southwest Minnesota State's giving scholarships for it. I know UC Davis. I think all these are starting to tap into esports in that genre, and I know it's huge on Twitch. That's their platform that
yeah,
they kind of
yeah.
compete with and do the thing with. I mean, I have to admit, I have to admit, the shooting games, man, they lose me. I forgot all that. I ain't got enough aptitude on the joystick to point to the right, aim, fire, run, and say I can't. My dexterity ain't that great no more.
You don't have the
I
cheat
don't
codes.
got it.
Okay, you don't. He don't
Yeah,
have
I
the
ain't got it
cheat
no
codes.
more on the
Okay,
game. But
it's all right.
it's growing though, man. I mean, that's something people got to look for. Now, to me, let's ask me personally: is that a sport?
Oh,
Mm, I don't know if it's a sport. It's a competitive environment. It is competitive. And if you define being competing in everything that that's a sport, then absolutely it is. I don't. It doesn't. I mean, it follows dexterity with your hands and your eye and hand coordination, which is great. But I don't think I qualify esports as esports. It's e-competition. So
okay,
I don't.
okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That's just my definition. I could be absolutely wrong.
You know, that's all
Don't
right.
kill me,
Don't
esports people.
ostracize part of our community here. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Oh no,
esports,
no, no.
so you
I'm
know,
saying that's my
educate
industry.
yourself.
Hey, teach me on game. Hit me the game.
Yeah,
If you can hit me
educate
the game,
yourself
you say
on
you
what
say
is it, the
cool.
Minecrafts and the Fortnites. I don't know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I can't roll with it, bro. My son
It is.
plays Fortnite, man. It drives me crazy. I try to follow it. It's like the dumbest game in the world. Jumping up, chopping down windows, shoot somebody flying around or coming down in the airplane.
Who
I'm like,
knows
man,
what's
this is
going
dumb.
on? Who
Yeah,
knows?
to me, it's dumb. But I mean, hey, if kids get entertained out of it, man, it's something they want to do. If it keeps them off the streets and keep them active, man, please go by doing it.
There you
You know,
go. There you go.
and
Good
I know
save. Good save.
esports guys make pretty good coin. Those guys
Listen,
that win,
yeah.
they make some
I
good
just know
money. So
about what's his name, Ninja. I just know about that cat Ninja who's got a lot of coins and to get those sponsorships. So you know, maybe we'll research that and see what's jumping off and what's going on with that. Chief, you were asking any chance of bringing the community. Every time we go and do something, we're going to put out the tweet. We're going to put out the message that the community is welcome. So if anyone is available, if anyone is around, and Kevin is reminding me that it's in Vegas, and here I am talking madness about Vegas. Okay, I'm gonna do some creative editing on this before I repost these clips because we love Vegas. Shout out to Las Vegas. We gonna be there. I don't know where we'll be staying. But yeah, I take back anything negative that I said about Las Vegas because we will be there for next year. Oh my gosh. Um, let's see here. Listen, Kevin can't do it either. It says my sight, my feet move in opposite directions when I'm playing these games.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I try to play a couple times. Them bad boys is crazy. It's crazy playing video games now. Let's see.
my mind, yeah, my mind don't work as well as anymore. See, mine tell the type of brother to pull out the Nintendo from the closet. You know,
Hey, I'm gonna go. I put out the Atari 2600
look
on
at
you.
he got the old school Atari. That's why
That's
me and him get along so well. He got the old
Atari and
school
television.
Atari.
Hey, and the dopest system out of all of them that didn't last long was Sega Genesis. That was that was the one.
There it is. Come on now, come on now.
Yeah, they
See,
don't know nothing about that. That Sega Genesis was on point.
I love it. I love it. Mister, any chance any of the team can see you and Montel in person? Listen, Noosh, was it you that was talking last week about somebody was topping up about getting us in person to maybe do a conversation at some universities, and that's what we're doing, right? We trying to speak this into existence of taking Team No Sleep on the street and actually being at starting at actually some community colleges, talking to some of them young cats and some of those environments. So we are definitely open to having conversations with partnering and doing some collaboration at 2-year colleges, 4-year colleges, YWCAs, all of that. So definitely hit us up. Y'all know the email. Y'all know how to get us on Twitter and an email, things of that nature. Let's talk about it because We doing big things. We are growing this platform with the community. We're not doing it alone. We're
Absolutely.
doing it with you guys. So that's what
So
that's
I
all
got
about.
one last story before we
Oh,
break.
what you got, man? What you got?
It's actually it's I don't know how to feel about this story, to be honest with you. I know it's wrong. So
Oh, hold on. I want to be on screen. Hold on. If it's wrong, I'm
yeah,
gonna
no,
put you on
you can be
screen
on
by
screen.
yourself.
This ain't that like that. I know. I was reading something about the Florida high school system, and I'm not quite sure what particular high school CIF thing it is, but they're talking about requiring female athletes to report when their menstrual cycle happens. That to me seems super invasive
Say what?
and kind of that's invasive. Like that's invasive of a person's
No,
privacy, right?
say what you just said again.
I said
The
that it's high school. It's a high school CI, like our CI, like California
yeah.
Federal Sports, the sports for high schools. Um, they're talking about having the women athletes in one of those particular areas in Florida. The young ladies that are athletes report when they're going to be on their menstrual cycle.
Why?
So well, I don't know. I was like, what the hell is that about? I don't understand what that's about. And I saw that in social media. I did a little bit of research when we were going online. I'm gonna do some more about it, but that just doesn't seem right to me. I wonder how our audience feels about that. But that was one of the stories that really kind of puzzled me when I was before we came online. Like, why is that even happening? Why would you need that information? And why would you be that intrusive on young ladies in high school?
Yeah, sounds like men overstepping their bounds and getting in. Well, okay, I won't speak out of turn until I do some more research as well. But that's a good thing that we can probably lead with for sure next
Yeah, they
time.
would
But
next week.
that's
So
crazy.
yeah, so that's crazy. So if you guys find some research on that and understand that, please share it with us. But to me, that just is like the most craziest thing I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah,
Especially when you come into high school. When it's any level that's crazy, but definitely that being into high school, that means these are young ladies that are from 13 to the age of 18 years old.
yeah. I
Why would you
mean,
need? Why would that
right
makes no
there.
sense to me.
That's nobody's business, right? That's nobody's
Exactly.
business. So we may get deep into not just the social impact, not just the athletic side, but that may get into a little political conversation as well. So y'all be ready, tighten up your belt next week, because
Yeah,
if we do some research, right? Because
that's our cliffhanger right
that's
there.
one of the that's one of those cross the aisle type of conversations, right? Again,
Yeah, that's that
being
cliffhanger right there. We're gonna bring you
yeah,
next week. We're gonna bring that to you guys next week.
man. So what's up, you
And
guys?
definitely lead off with that and kind of talk about that and have an open discussion. I think that'd be a good way to get us going.
That's it. That's it. I love it. And we got some new folks in here. What's up, guys? Honored to join. Appreciate you for being. Is that? Hold on, man. We know who that is. Okay. I just love it. Just seeing all these new names. All right. I'm gonna close with this story right here because we're trying to end now on some positivity, on some things that are actually a little bit less dramatic. Damar Hamlin was at the award ceremony not too long ago, and he got the NFL Players Association award for what was the community award? Yeah, the Alan Page Community Award. So he got that. He walked up on stage. He had his mom and his dad with him. Just good to see Damar. There was some madness on social media that it wasn't really Damar Hamlin. It was a body double in the booth, right? And up in the. So I'm
Yeah.
glad he's out here doing commercials. I'm glad he's out here walking around, accepting awards and receiving awards, and I'm just glad that he's out here walking around and alive. And I think this is pretty cool because he didn't get the award for anything he did necessarily on the field. He didn't even get the award for recovering from an injury. He got the award for his foundation, eventually earning up to what was the in number? I think it was $9 million. He started out only wanting to raise $2,500. Man ended up raising
That's
$9 million. And by getting the award, they give them an extra $100,000. Damar
so
Hamlin out
90.
there, come on now. Out there showing some love to the community. I mean, he had to go
Man,
through some things to get it. He had to go through some things to get it.
yeah,
But the
I don't know
fact
if I
that
want to risk death. I mean, he died on the field.
yeah, he
I don't
died.
want to
No,
die
no,
for
he was
$9 million.
gone for a minute.
Yeah, I don't want to die for 9 mil
Yeah,
because I could make a living. But I mean, kudos to him and his foundation. Maximizing what's going on. I mean, like you said, he had to go through hell to get to this situation in order to recover. But the good thing that he's back, his foundation is probably gonna do some wonderful things with that money. I'm pretty sure because I'm sure he's appreciative where he's at. I don't. My curiosity for him is like, where does he go from here? I don't think football is an option again. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if he's going to try to make it back on the field again. Is he going to be in the PA? Is he just going to kind of work with the Players Association or be a figure in the Bills organization? I'm just not quite sure where he's at. But I hope with the money that he raised, whatever causes they want to go against, I hope he fights strong and hard in the Buffalo community with that $9 million.
Yeah.
Because now I know he has the funding to do a lot of powerful things now. Within that account, and I think he will, man. I mean, everything I've read about him and everything he seems to speak about when he's on the air, it's all about positive things, what he wants to do, things he wants to do with the community. So I hope he continues that with this money, and I hope and more important, I hope the NFL sticks by him, continues to stand by him, continues to support him, continues to get him through the situation until he's 100% healthy, not football healthy, but 100% healthy, where he's everything's A-okay.
Exactly, because that's what you and I talk about a lot, right? When the lights dim and when you still got to deal with the personal and the mental issues and things of that nature. Now, I've got this highlighted right here. The medical director for the NFL Players Association says, look, I don't want to get into any HIPAA conversations, but DeMar can play whenever he's ready. Right, he can't. He's so. I mean, I've got it highlighted right here. This came specifically from Dr. Mayer's mouth right there. But so we'll see. If he even wants to go back out there and go through all of those activities. But it seems like he could be cleared, at least from that perspective, coming from the NFLPA's medical director. We'll see. See if he suits up next year.
If that's the case, I hope they test him rigorously to make sure he can handle it. Because we still don't really have a definitive what happened, right? And we don't really know exactly what happened.
We got a lot of speculation. We just got a lot of speculation.
We don't know exactly what triggered it, what happened, what caused him to go into cardiac arrest. We don't know exactly what happened. I mean, I know people said it was the shot, it was just the COVID shot that did it or whatever. They're saying all these things. We don't know exactly what caused it. Until I got that information, I would hope the NFL would say, no, we're not clearing him, right? We're not going to clear him. He'll still be on roster for his contract, whatever the extent of his contract is.
Which is cool too, right? Because he's getting paid his full salary. That was negotiated through the NFLPA that he will get his full salary and not his if he was out and injured. So that's a great thing.
The injured reserve. Yeah. And which he should. He should get that. And then the fact, like I said, until he's cleared, and I hope the NFLPA pushes to make sure they figure out the reason why he had that situation. And if he does decide to come back, he has to be 125% clear.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. We got to be one, because you got to think. And I'm with not him. Can you imagine the traumatic situation if somebody actually passed away on the field? What that would do?
No.
Like I'm talking about actually never came back from it.
Because we all went through that already, right? For a brief moment, we all thought that happened, and it did happen for a real short time when you look at it technically. But no, for it to happen, no.
But I'm talking about somebody that takes to the hospital, they don't come back from a hit. I mean, we've had paralyzed, we've had those kind of things, and we're still dealing with those situations. When Sterling got hit by Tatum, and all those situations when people get hurt or they have they have concussions that are really, really bad. I mean, we still cringe when we see Tua's situation, right? When he has his concussions. Can you imagine a situation where, I'm not saying this, but any young man was on the field and he gets hit and he doesn't come back to us? On a national stage. Remember, this wasn't like where we didn't see it on TV and we're just getting clips of it. Like we hear about some college kids or something like that passed away running around. What if that happens? Where, I don't think we're ready for that. Not sports, not something that we never had to happen before. It would be very difficult for people to digest and swallow. And it would give really ammunition for people to talk about NFL shouldn't be there. It's too brutal of a sport, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that, when it could be some other conditions. That's why I think it's so important to figure out exactly what happened, why this happened. It wasn't the hit, or if it was the hit, what was it that caused him to go into cardiac arrest? Because it didn't, we need answers for that, because at that point, everybody's just going to continue to speculate and come to their own conclusion.
So hopefully, so Kevin, I saw that you asked that question. Hopefully, what Montel just said right now kind of answers your question, as opposed to is it really our business to know exactly what happened and kind of the why, So
I think so. For medical reasons, you want to know why, because we want to prevent it from happening again. If a person has a similar condition again, we don't want anybody to go through that. So the only way you can do that if you're transparent to see what happened, unless it's something that's very personal in that, but they can keep that maybe in the vault. But they should say, hey, we do know what happened. We're just not going to disclose it. We know exactly what happened. We're not going to disclose it to everybody. So there's ways about putting it out there and saying, hey, we know what happened, and not being intrusive on his privacy.
Gotcha.
I just think that we need to have that answer though. Somebody needs to have that answer to tell us, hey, something we know what happened. If we can diagnose somebody that has that similar condition, we need to throttle down and figure out what's going on so it doesn't happen to no one else.
There it is. There it is. Put that in the same manila folder as the CTE conversation that continues to happen, right? They fixed that before it's too late for some folks, and then we fixed the situation so DeMar Hamlin don't happen again. Love it, man. Let's see. Kevin says, I think that's a risk we take by playing any sport live. Someone can pass at any time from several medical reasons and conditions. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's true. It's
true. That's 100%
I'm gonna write that down because I mean that's an interesting conversation that we can go into as well. You know, just the drive that an athlete has, not just professional, but an athlete has to knowing the risks, knowing what could happen when you out there and you running up to a 300-pound grown man at 15 miles an hour. What could break on both of your bodies? But yet and still, you still do it. Why? For the love of the game, for the love of competition, for money.
I love it, man.
What is it? See, don't know.
I love it, man.
I don't hear it.
I love it.
we gonna talk about that. I'm clip this right here because we want to talk about that. Because again, why do folks take themselves to that level? Why do we go out there and practice? You know, why AI always talking about it? We talking about practice. Why do we do that? And why do athletes do that? Let's get into that. Montel, take us home, brother.
Yes, as always, man. Please be comfortable having the uncomfortable conversation. And shout out to your loved ones, man. We're in this time. It's Black History Month. Please, acknowledge Black greatness, in our history, in our American history. Because Black history is American history, right? So let's go ahead and continue to do that and acknowledge it and talk about it. And some of the great things that we do to celebrate some of the great accolades we have in African American culture. So very excited about that. So again, contact a loved one, say your prayers. We out.
That's it. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, man. Jim, I see all the note here about the student association that may be reaching out to us. Let's make some things happen, y'all. We out.